Welcome to Jukebox Zeroes. It's time for another episode. Bet you didn't see me sneaking up there. Just coming up the way. Okay. Welcome to Jukebox Zeroes. I'm Lee.
I'm still sneaking up. I'm Patrick. Goodness gracious, we're sneaky today.
Yeah, we're a bunch of sneaky fellows.
Welcome to Sneak Past Zeroes.
This may have been our way of coping with the last episode where we stared into the abyss, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I basically don't want to exist anymore because of that album.
So, ever since the Corey Feldman episode aired, I have lost the ability to feel.
Uh-huh, yeah, oh, totally.
The concept of enjoyment or fun or other people enjoying things or having fun is nebulous and foreign to me.
Well, remember that, dull headache that I was experiencing from the time that we did the Results May Vary episode?
Uh-huh.
And that sort of, hung with me for a good year or so. I don't feel that anymore because my entire brain is disintegrated.
So I guess some good came out of that. Personally, I am now...
I didn't need it. It's dead weight.
Personally, I am now living in a ditch somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Just sort of staring up into the endless array of stars and galaxies, just wondering, what has become of existence.
Yeah.
How can I possibly feel anything ever again? Will I ever truly understand what it is to be human? And then after that, my girlfriend will call and just be like, come in, it's supposed to rain. And then I go in and I have pasta Alfredo, and it's okay.
Oh, good. Good. So, yeah. Have a sip.
Yep. We drink.
Yeah. I'm going to have a sip, too.
We're adults. We drink. So, before we introduce our guest, you think we got anything to apologize for this week, Pat? Think it's time for the apology section?
Yeah, sure.
I want the world to know that I'm sorry!
So there's that. You got anything to apologize for this time around, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, the last two episodes that we just did, I feel like that whole intro was sort of a apology / maybe go easy on us, because we clearly suffered a lot, too.
I mean, you say that, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like, it's pretty clear that just having to listen to both parts of the Corey Feldman album was penance enough.
I think, yeah, we've atoned. Yeah. I believe we've atoned.
Scott Kurland still is not talking to us.
Oh no. He's gone from our lives forever.
I'm not even sure if he's. I think he may have forgotten how to read at this point. One thing
he just sees bugs.
What?
But he hopes it's that book.
He just looks at a sheet of paper and thinks that he sees words, and then it just turns into bugs, and the letters just sort of crawl away.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
One thing I will apologize for is we are not in the smell cave this time around, so we cannot tell you whether the lobby was playing Chicago, Whitney Houston, or Celine Dion this time around.
So on that note, it was Chicago today.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you guys don't know.
Well, it was the song that I heard on the way out.
On the way out? Oh, on the way out the door of your building.
Yes.
Oh, well, there we go then.
Yeah, I'm taking over.
Apology rescinded.
Yeah.
Screw you guys.
So we got nothing to apologize for now.
Yeah.
We've atoned.
Which means it's time to introduce our guest. So we got a doozy of an episode this time around, so we needed someone who knows a thing or two about bad music to help us out to make some sense of this ridiculous thing that we're going to be talking about.
It is ridiculous.
So without any further ado, from the podcast Make It Stop, Heather Mack is Heather back.
That's great.
I almost made that work.
That's the content you subscribe for, everybody. That's what you're in it for. Great to be here.
We would have had Mike Dunn with us, too, but he unfortunately had to drop out, but we'll get him back sometime.
His message to me today was, I have an ear infection like a goddamn child. Which I was like, I haven't had an ear infection since 1996. So, I think it's true.
No, so Oddly enough, I hadn't had one since I was like a kid, since probably like 92 or something, and then I had one last year.
Oh no!
And it was awful. I was
Yikes.
like, what the fuck do I do? I got to go to an ear doctor.
What the fuck? Right, it's like getting pink eye as an adult. Like you don't want to admit that. Like
Oh boy.
it's not cute, right? I don't know. So
I mean,
poor Mike.
At
but-
least that way you know that he wasn't like lying to get out of it, but at the same time, like, oof.
Yeah.
Just oof.
I'll just have to be twice as funny, I guess.
It's like getting adult chicken pox.
Actually, yeah, the mayor of Somerville did get that. Got shingles.
Really?
Yeah, like half of his face was fucking like paralyzed.
Oh,
yeah, like
jeez.
not good. I think it'll be
this-
okay.
was this
He'll recover.
recent,
Yeah, this
or-
is like last week. Shout out to Joe
Wow.
Curtatone,
Ooh,
Yeah.
my dude.
buddy, dude, I
Hope
feel
you're
for
resting
you.
up.
Get well soon, Joe Cortatoni.
Looked
so
all like lurchy. It was
get well soon, Joe Cortatoni, so you can come on the podcast and review Love Beach with us.
Hey, there we go. I have actually had shingles too.
Oh my
before.
god.
Really?
Yeah, I lucked out where it was only kind of on my back, but yeah, fuck that. It
That's
was.
Oof.
only on
felt
your
I
back.
felt the damage for like weeks.
That's like saying I only have syphilis on my genitalia. Like that's still a bad
Yeah,
thing.
you
No,
wouldn't
no.
want that anywhere.
Right. Keep it away.
So I went to the ER because I had no idea what the fuck it was, and like the doctor, like he's like, oh. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you
This
never
Indian
want to
dude.
hear
It's
that.
like- It's like, what is it? It's like, oh, you have shingles. I'm like, well, thank you for the warning, I guess.
Yeah, definitely no one wants to hear that. We'll say that.
I mean, also, no one really wants to hear their doctor get that apologetic.
That's what
about
I'm saying.
something.
Yeah, just right. Like to be like, "Oh no." Like I don't want I don't
Like,
feel
you're supposed to be the calm one.
Just kidding. You have Pringles. And he hands you a man of Pringles.
And you also have shingles. Enjoy these Pringles for free.
Yeah. Once you pop, you don't stop.
Complimentary. Oh.
The Pringles
You
will,
have-
the Pringles also have shingles. They're shingle Pringles.
Oh man, has anyone made a pimples once you pop you can't stop joke? Because that's like a real thing.
Dude, that's gruesome. That's
Let's-
great.
It's gross. It's really
Let's
gross.
not do that.
Okay.
Oh, no.
That'd be
now
a good little wacky package. You know
oh,
what I
no.
mean?
Now I want to Photoshop
I
like,
know.
pimples on the side of a Pringles can.
Yeah, that's right. That's like our sububby.
TM,
kind of-
TM.
That feels like a Dr. Demento level joke.
Yeah, great. That's one of my heroes.
I mean, he gets views.
True.
I mean, listens. Maybe he gets views. I don't know if he's on YouTube.
I don't know if
or
anyone's
not.
really looking too hard at Dr. Demento. He's got a face for radio, let's just say.
He's got a
God bless him.
webcam series.
God bless
I
him.
mean, someone had to have like just sort of mentioned live streaming to him at some point.
I guess. You would have thought. Weird Al might have called him up and been like, hey, buddy, you got to get with the times. It's time.
Oh, yeah. He's got a TikTok account.
Speaking of it's time, you guys think it's time to talk about
Oh my
the album
God.
we're going to be doing
Oh
today?
my
What
God.
in the flying shit who are you talking about today?
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
brace yourself, listeners.
Like, what is this?
Yeah,
I'm still, like, trying to wrap my head around
Okay.
what we're talking about today.
I'll introduce this by saying
It's a.
what would you guys classify as some of the biggest music stories of the year? I mean, if you go by like what major news outlets were covering, probably like Paul Simon's farewell tour, or Kanye West supporting Trump, or like
XXX Tentacion's death, perhaps.
or the marriage and subsequent divorce of Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. I mean, I know you're a juggalo, so maybe it was Shaggy Two Dope trying to kick Fred Durst. in
Yeah,
the
that
head.
was a big piece of news in the Stopaverse, at least.
Right. All of this is just so much celebrity gossip, though. If you're unfamiliar with it, I'd like to introduce you now to a story that was not as widely reported on by mainstream publications, but is easily one of the strangest and most intriguing music-related stories of 2018. The story of Jared Eames, an unassuming and relatively unremarkable metalcore performer who went by the stage name Jared Threatin. Though he had tastes of success with his former band Satith and was briefly a member of internationally touring act Abigail Williams, Eames was not regarded by the metal community at all, and his solo project Threatin, titled after his stage surname, went largely unnoticed by fans and critics. Until November of this year, when Threatin engaged in an overseas European tour. He'd been gathering a touring band of musicians since April, and was prepared for a long 2-week tour with stops in the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, France, Italy, and Germany. Here's what happened. Threatin arrived in Europe to play at their various The Sinclair-sized venues, when news gradually trickled out that they were playing to largely empty rooms. Not normally newsworthy until you learn that the venues had been misinformed by Jared Threatin that advance tickets had been sold. All of this was initially covered by the music news site Metal Sucks, who dug deeper and deeper into Threatin's history as a band, to discover that not only had Threatin lied to performers about ticket sales, but they'd set up an entire fake network of websites and internet entities to support the ruse of the band's success, including a fake record label, a fake booking agency, a fake management company, doctored YouTube videos to give the impression that Threatin attracted massive audiences, and over 30,000 fake likes and followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. By the time news organizations and bigger music publications like NME and Spin picked up on the story, it was basically over. Threatin's touring guitarist, have a beer, and drummer quit midway through the tour. Their Ireland, France, Italy, and Germany dates were cancelled, and it appeared as though the notoriety gained from lying to venues and spending what must have been thousands upon thousands of dollars to create fake websites, a fake following, pay deposit fees on venues, and hire touring musicians hadn't really increased Threatin's profile one iota. But frankly, this story is too bizarre and has far too many perplexing layers for us not to talk about it. So imagine our delight to learn that Threatin released a full-length album immediately before this whole fiasco came to light. And that's what we're basically using as an excuse to keep talking about this Kramer painting. Who here wants to listen to Breaking the World by Threatin?
Not me.
You did.
I'm not doing it again.
Keep in mind, listeners, we had another episode planned for this time around, but as soon as this news broke, we were just like, okay, we have to push this one back and do this instead, because, wow.
So that is quite a story.
Quite a story.
Yeah, and I'll just like spoil this now. The album itself is boring as hell.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much
that's just a small part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I have some notes. Let me tell you.
I hope so.
I got some notes.
Well, my point is that we're mostly going to be using the album to talk about the story itself.
As a mechanism for furthering this person's delusion of
and
importance.
I was telling Heather about this before you showed up, Pat, but this is pretty much going to be the closest this podcast gets to being serial.
Yeah, it is like investigating a crime, isn't it? You know, it's like there are so many different layers of delusion and self-sabotage and like probably mental illness and like narcissistic personality disorder and like it sounds like a collection of katana swords made into an album. Like it's just, I feel like this guy,
I like
if you look at this, so first of all, his name is Jared, not Jared. Jared Threatin, spelled Threatin, emphasis on the I.
Yeah, short for threating.
Jared, by the way, spelled Jered.
Yes, right. I'm sorry. I thought I emphasized that by going Jared over and over again. But that's, what a stupid name. He looks like Legolas on meth. And like he's this guy from LA.
He looks like one of those also ran bands that plays Ralph's Rock Diner that stands around outside attracting like jailbait
this guy
just attracting metal girls going like, yeah, I'm Swedish.
Oh my god, for sure. Yeah, I'm Swedish. Yeah,
I like meatballs.
Jared,
I am
Bork.
God, dude, yeah, exactly.
I was like, a bowl of Swedish meatballs.
I was like, yeah, this guy is definitely was a 26-year-old who like had a 14-year-old girlfriend in high school that was like your friend in high school, and you were like, no, like,
oh no,
you know, Brittany, don't do that. Like, girl, you deserve better, like that kind of thing. Except like, God, and it was pedophilia. Yeah, gross, awful, bad. This guy is bad, and it feels bad, and he should feel bad about being him.
Oof,
it's real.
Well put.
So before we really get into the album, I want to throw a quick shout out to Metal Sucks, where I'm getting most of my information from, because
they broke the story.
Yeah, this story did not break on like, you know, the New York Times and Variety and stuff until Metal Sucks was covering it.
The real news sources.
Yeah. Metal Sucks, come on the podcast and review Love Beach with us.
Yeah, they were okay. So yeah, Metal Sucks was the one. Metal Sucks was the magazine that ended up exposing this insanity.
Right.
And they were the ones who documented the fake record labels and the fake booking companies and management companies that were registered. They found out that it was registered the same GoDaddy account.
Right.
And they figured out that the 38,000 likes on the band's Facebook page had been bought, and they were almost entirely people from Brazil.
Oh,
right.
boy. Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
And if you go onto the Facebook page, you can like scroll back through time and see like I was like really just I was so fascinated by this because you're right, the songs itself are pretty fucking bland, but like going back in time and seeing these Facebook posts, and they would have like 600 likes on a post, and it would be one comment, it would be like Threatin heart. And it was like, wait, so nobody likes this band. Like
They're just speechless.
They're
They don't have anything
speechless.
to say.
it's not just like it's not just relegated to Facebook either. If you ever look on any of their YouTube videos, or at least the ones that weren't just put up automatically by Spotify, by like Clapham Junction and stuff like that. If you look on any of their music videos, their comment section is filled with bots. Just bots all the way, going like, I love you, Jared. Come to my town.
Yeah, right.
Then you click the link. It's like, this has no comment. This has no content.
Yeah. A lot of the content has suspiciously gone missing too. I was looking on the website, and I found that he had like an 8-piece documentary series, an 8-part documentary series that was on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be gold. And I went to click on it, and it was, this has been removed by the user. So he was
what a surprise.
He was not ready to,
That's
have to
hilarious.
answer to anything else beyond what he's had to answer to. But I'm assuming we're gonna get into this. I don't want to.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get.
I mean, we got to hear the
his
music.
recent,
we
gotta hear
get
the
into all of
tunes.
this. I have so many pages.
Oh my
of
god,
notes.
look at you.
We got to hear these tunes. I mean, clearly we're dealing with the visionary.
I suppose if we must, why don't we cue up track number 1, the title track off of this album, titled "Breaking the World."
More like breaking the wind.
Farts.
Breaking the wall. I can see the light you need. Breaking the wall. I can see the light.
Well, this is certainly.
Yeah, there's a few things we can unpack. I think.
This is what the rest of Europe was deprived of after the tour came to a stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's already the first track, and I have incredibly low hopes for this. The drums are blatantly fake.
Yeah.
The bass is not audible, like Jason Newsted was on this. The auto tunes are very, very subtly.
Oh my god, the auto tune is
Yes.
out of control. He should be ashamed of himself.
I mean, it's subtle at first, but once you do notice it, you can't help but notice it for all the rest of the album.
It's like auto-tune erotic asphyxiation.
It's definitely like bedroom studio level production values
Yeah.
in the service of what? If this song is any indicator, basically nu metal light.
Yeah, very non-threatening. Let me just
there we
say.
go.
And not even top tier nu metal at that. Like, imagine the likes of Chevelle or Taproot or 12 Stones.
I'd rather not.
That's,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we've gone past
Never mind
that.
that.
I think I'd.
My point is that's the level of unimpressiveness that we're hearing in the track like this.
Yeah, when we're name dropping Taproot, it's a rough day.
Yeah, I'm hearing, I guess Chester Bennington at best. There's a lot of that sort of grit to his voice.
No, it's like a Tom DeLonge. It's like a fucking like breathe in the world. It's all just like
It's very, very fucking mall goth
too
emo.
much. Yeah, and too much jaw movement.
I definitely got
Not
like,
enough
a little,
jaw movement.
I definitely
I don't
got a
know.
little more like leaning towards the emo side. Like I don't
Yeah.
know who the singer of Taking Back Sunday is or was, but a little
Adam
bit of that.
Lazara. And that was my first note. I was like, this sounds like a high school thrice cover band, like Fourths.
Thrice.
I suppose it does.
Called Fourths?
Fourths.
I don't know.
Fourth.
Not to jump off topic, but Taproot actually played in Nashua a couple years ago
I'm sure they did.
at a tiny little bar called Fodes.
I'm sure they did.
a couple of years ago. Wow.
Listen, the last
really
guest...
keeping us up
I'm
to
just
date.
saying that's something that happened. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. The last show, Make It Stop episode that we recorded, we interviewed two people who we were talking about boy bands, and they were literally going to see O-Town that night at a bar in Lawrence.
Oh no.
No town.
At the age of
That is a far fall.
It's rough, yeah.
I never thought I would be.
God bless them.
I never thought I would be this sympathetic towards O-Town, but that's a far drop to fall.
No, they're definitely still trying to have groupies in the year 2018. Come backstage and let's.
They should not.
So, piggybacking on that, I listened to this record, this Threatin album, actually after listening to. For some reason, I decided to listen to Def Leppard's Hysteria the other day, which, admittedly, I think is actually a great record.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fucking classic Mutt Lange production. I mean, it's stupid.
I mean, if you're gonna listen to a dumb glam metal album, you definitely could do a lot worse than a Def Leppard album.
Absolutely. And listening to these two records back to back, I could kind of make some parallels where this band is basically the equivalent of that sort of hair metal genre, but in the 2000s, 2010s.
But for metalcore?
But saying the word band is such a misnomer because it's this one fucking
this one
dude's
guy.
vanity project. It's he's all of the music videos it's like that fucking Alanis Morissette ironic video where it's just four of her in the car singing to herself and each other being herself. That's what it
he's
is.
on the drums too.
He's on the drums.
He has
on the
a
bass.
mustache.
He's it's the
long hair.
crowd is just him photoshopped with a fucking
I'm the singer, Jared Threatin. Meet my guitarist, Jared Jettin.
Sandy Hamburg, Andy Sanders, Berkeley Sanders,
Guy Incognito.
God.
No, but I mean, it's sort of similar, these two genres, this kind of poppy metalcore stuff and the pop metal from the 80s, where it's
Right.
you have it's similar sort of suburban
But at
fan
least-
base and
At least they actually partied and had a fucking lifestyle that went. I mean, a toxic lifestyle. But
absolutely.
but-
I mean, they were all very abusive towards women, both genres.
yeah, and all drug addicts. So I don't know if that was necessarily the goal to aspire to, but at least they were real.
I mean, in this case, the abuse towards women is only slightly hinted at.
Right, I know, yeah.
In that same kind of way that so many other metalcore songs is it's all your fault that I'm fucked up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those lyrics. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Jared to eat his vegetables, and he just formed
isn't
this
he-
band, and he's Jared Threatin now.
I remember him when he was Jared Sweetie Pie. No, because isn't he estranged from his parents? Didn't he bail on his parents and stuff?
That's another thing
That
we're
is
gonna get
not
to.
Oh
surprising.
man, yeah.
But I feel like we should start at the beginning for the actual event itself. Now, the tour began on November 1st at a venue called the Underworld in Camden in the UK. And almost immediately after the date passed, the venue's social media began calling Jared Threatin out for lying about ticket sales, and other venues like the Exchange in Bristol followed suit. And as we mentioned earlier, as you alluded to, all 38,000 of Jared Threatin's likes on Facebook were faked. They came basically from bot farms in Brazil and that sort of stuff. Ditto to the 100 people that RSVP'd to the show. And like you also mentioned, there was promotional video material uncovered with, quote-unquote interviews, which pretty much consisted of Jared speaking to someone off camera, spliced with vanity footage of himself playing instruments while headbanging. And unfortunately for all of us, these videos no longer exist online. What is online, however, is a video clip that was also included from a channel called Live From My Phone, Jamie Grundy, which features several video... Stay with me.
You started laughing. I couldn't help it.
I can't go anywhere.
Which features several videos purporting to have been taken from the crowds of various concerts, including System of a Down, Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, and Threatin. How convenient. The video bears the description, "Live video of Threatin. Got this video last June. I could only get a few seconds here and there, and the crowd was pretty wild. I kept almost dropping my phone. Great show, though."
Oh, yeah, they were just too wild.
I took an audio clip of the video itself, which isn't blatantly fake, though I should mention the channel also features a System of a Down clip titled BYOB Live, featuring the band playing Toxicity. And based on everything else that's come out about Threatin, it really makes you realize just how easy it is to fake this sort of thing.
Does he also have a video of Nirvana playing Half the Man I Used to Be?
I will warn you, though, the video is very loud and very distorted, so brace yourself. So the video itself is literally just footage of a fuzzy mosh pit with no actual image of the band itself. Its video could have come from literally any metal concert. I mean, just take one of those, layer some additional crowd noise over it, a little clip of your band's songs, and just combo filter the fuck out of it, and boom, instant promo material.
I was gonna say that.
How do you check up on that?
That's definitely the studio version of the song, just like with a like a heavy
Right.
compressor and crowd noise over it.
I forget which song specifically it is, but we will
Can you
eventually
layer talent over it, please? Can we just... Because that's the thing I just keep wondering here, guys, is it's like if he just took the amount of money and time that he put into being a fake band and to actually writing decent fucking songs that didn't sound like they came out of like a fourth grader's notebook, then like maybe he'd have something here.
I feel like the lyrical basis for all of these songs, like his main inspiration was the theme to Pokemon for some reason. Like I just get this sort of like I want to be the very best sort of vibe to like all of the lyrics to this song, and then of course the like very fuck you mom attitude.
No, I think it's more sinister. I'm gonna say I have like a lot of reads of this shit where we'll get into some specific lyrics, but it really reeks of like some gross toxic shit.
Oh sure.
So yeah,
I think it's come out that Jared Threatin is 29 years old by this point, so he
what he wants you to think.
clearly has not grown up at all.
No, except
Grown
his
out of
hairline
anything.
has, and so like, God, that scalp is just red. Like,
that's
like deal with that.
that's unfortunate.
It's rough.
That LA sun is rough.
Yeah. What do you say we move on to track number 2, titled "Living Is Dying"? Don't actually answer that. I know we don't actually want to move on, but we gotta.
I will take no more. Don't look back. I will take no more. Don't look back. Living is dying.
Woof.
The year is 2006. You're in a slightly broken computer chair in Abington, Massachusetts. It smells vaguely of black mold and maple syrup, and you are watching this on YouTube.
A tall
man.
boy,
Dial up.
a tall boy of cocaine energy drink to your side.
Oh, yeah.
With a Four Loko on the other end.
Damn. We are there.
All of the lyrics to this song look like they could be tattooed on a lower back.
Oof. Yeah.
This is basically bad high school poetry, right on down to lyrics like, "I lie awake at night, just buried in my mind. I feel it burn inside." Deep?
Yeah,
This is the message he really wanted to bring to the world.
absolutely, and so much so that he actually recorded a video, which can I say
Oh,
is the
yes.
fucking saddest
Oh, yes.
thing ever,
let's-
because it's just him just filming himself
Let's talk about the video.
in various rooms. It's like, couldn't he buy some friends to show up for the video recording? Like maybe even just a green screen to like,
Get some of those
CGI
likes
them in.
from Facebook,
Yeah.
from the
For-
bot farm.
Right.
For
some
full
of those
context,
guys.
for full context, this is a music video that has over 1 million views on YouTube. Probably not.
Yeah.
And
I
the
mean, maybe now because of like, the car crashy kind of vibe that it gives you, the fact that everybody's kind of
Right.
seized
to
on
watch
it.
it, yeah.
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 Here we are, right?
Yeah, just a majority of those views like that aren't bots are probably curiosity views. But anyway, the video is, for lack of a better term, surreal. It depicts Jared performing all the instruments himself in a blue room draped with curtains, occasionally cutting between footage of a shattered mirror on the floor,
Yep.
an hourglass, a ticking clock, and to him, singing from behind an empty frame that he rotates with his hands like this.
Oh.
Again.
What?
Deep?
And the whole thing, his like fucking facial expression and everything that he's doing, it looks like the black and white before video of like a migraine medication infomercial. Like he's just like fucking, it looks so painful. Like if he's not enjoying this, I'm not enjoying this. Who hurt you, Jared? Jared.
So I hate to fall back into old jokes that we used in previous episodes, but I gotta point out that the music video to this song has some pretty sick burns in the comments section on YouTube. A couple choice examples. Onador1337 says, "Living is Dying is an awesomely written song. Can't wait to listen to the other hits, Ice Burns Hot Like Fire, Cheerfully Sad, and So Fast I'm Slow."
Jumbo shrimp.
Another one, Andy Sedano says, "Hey dude, if you need money for your next tour, I know a prince from Nigeria who has a great plan for you."
Very nice.
And one more, and this one's my favorite. Nathan Falcon says, "Don't mind me, just got paid $400 for this comment."
Nathan Falcon. You got.
He should be the
You've
one
been lying to us this whole time, Nathan. Your last name isn't Falcon.
He should be the one touring Europe. With a
Yeah,
name like
right.
that.
That's true.
Couldn't you see Nathan Falcon opening up for, I don't know, Man-O-War or something like that?
Yeah. Fucking Jared Threatin. If you're gonna make up your name, at least make it cool, dude. Like Nathan.
All right, so like, who the fuck names their band after their stage
fake
name?
last name.
Their fake last name. Like, who
The
the fuck
Ramones.
does that anymore?
The
Dawkins?
Ramones.
But like, that's the '80s. What are we doing,
The
dude?
Donnas.
It's like,
Telling you.
Threatin opening up for Zenough.
Ooh, enough's enough. Jimmy Queensryche. That's not his name.
Jimmy Queensryche.
So back to the tour for a second. As we mentioned before, in addition to faked footage and faked follows, Jared went so far as to craft fake artist management agencies and tour bookers to support his illusion. Entities called Superlative Music and Stage Right Bookings. It was through Stage Right Bookings that Jared contacted the various European venues, posing as a man by the name of Casey Marshall, with a false email account. Basically renting venues for a flat fee and then having complete free reign of the bill with only the trust of the venue to fall back upon, which was pretty much how he was able to obscure the number of tickets that he was claiming to have sold from the venues. Pretty shitty. This also means that on top of however much money Jared was paying to hire touring musicians and travel overseas to travel from country to country, he was dropping hundreds and hundreds of dollars in advance to venues to not make any money back from ticket sales, I guess, and ultimately just cost all those venues a ton of money from bar sales. A representative from one of the venues, the Asylum in Birmingham, contacted Metal Sucks when the story initially broke, and details were scarce, with just this comment saying, "We were lucky that the other venues reached out and let us know of the issues. After speaking to the supports and making them aware, we decided to run the show for them," they all brought people, "and with a little morbid curiosity as to what the whole charade was about. Interesting times for sure."
Jesus Christ.
That's putting it lightly a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, no kidding.
So the song itself is just kind of more generic pseudo-pop metal with melodramatic lyrics. Not too much to speak of, I'd say. Think it's time to move on?
I guess.
Sure. Let's do it.
Track number 3, it's just... Ugh. If I have to read all of these titles, I am going to be just... Track number 3 titled, and I'm sorry, The End of You.
I feel it endlessly, black in the walls surrounding me. I feel it endlessly. The end is soon. The end of you.
I'm gonna call false advertising because the end is not soon. This is only the third fucking song.
Yeah.
Jared, another lie.
Oh, boy.
You sit on a throne of lies, Jared Threatin.
I guess we've come to expect that from Jared Threatin, really.
Every song is just kind of sounding the same to me so far. How do you feel? How do you feel
I mean,
about that?
I guess this one is kind of a little bit better-ish, sort of, than the tracks that preceded it, but not by a whole lot. I mean, the central vocal lick kind of sounds like it's ripping off Coheed and Cambria a little bit, which is okay, I guess. But it's hard to get over just how thin the production is. It's really off-putting, and those high school poetry lyrics, once again.
Yeah, and this is when you start to realize that every single line on the album is less than 7 syllables. Like, every single one. It's just...
He doesn't write a lot of lyrics.
And he rhymes the
haikus.
same 30 songs. It's like magnetic poetry, you know what I mean? Like, God, except, like, at least I would say something funny on the fridge, like fucking fart, poop, barf, and shit. And that would have been better than this.
That would have been a great song.
That would have been a great song.
I mean, we can't...
It's a Guar song, actually.
Fart, poopies, pooping, but. I don't know.
I'd take that. Like, okay, also there's a little bit of projection on this, the lyrics, right? I see through your deceit. There's nothing more for you to be.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
I see through your deceit. The end is near.
Is this like
dun, dun, dun.
Is this like a Telltale Heart sort of situation right there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lyrics on this album that kind of feel like they're getting to this point of like, but I'm sure that he's projecting it onto somebody else. I mean, this isn't him that has the problem.
Absolutely not.
We're
the bad people.
For sure.
Bad people.
This is it like feels like when I go to get like royalty free music for like a documentary or whatever, and it's like if you search for like metal in the royalty free category, this is what would come up. Like,
oh yeah. No, it feels like very, very metalcore by numbers.
What's the name of that guy that runs that famous royalty-free music site in Compotech? Keith McLeod or something like that.
Sure.
Let's have him on the podcast because now I want to know if any of this was ripped off from him.
Right. Well, I mean,
it very well could be.
It does. It gives you that session musician vibe, which it basically is, right? So that was the whole thing with the tour, is that they like kind of picked these unsuspecting people, and that's going to be a segment at some point. Sure, right?
I mean, I'll just say like none of the people who were picked for the tour were big names until the whole story came out.
Right, and they all kind of were along for the ride. They were like, we didn't really ask too many questions or think too much of it, and we were like stoked to be told that we're getting paid $300 for an entire European tour.
We're getting an all-expenses
and by
paid
the
tip
way,
to Europe.
By the way, that $300 is you have to pay for your own food.
Yeah, basically.
And you spent $400 on
the plane
food,
ticket.
so you actually owe me $100.
Yeah.
Also, there are enforced curfews.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Talk about the
sleepy
enforced
times?
Yeah. Talk about the enforced curfew situation.
Enforced curfews.
That shit is wild. That
Lights
they got in
out,
like a
mister.
hissy fit because they were like, because two of the bandmates decided to go get breakfast in the hotel cafe without telling Jared and his girlfriend or
His wife, Kelsey, who was basically
spelled with an SEA, which is like, God, not a good sign.
Yeah, she was basically acting as the tour manager the whole time, and she pretty much just tried to
acting.
Yeah.
Being the ultimate operative word here.
She was basically just being very big brother about the whole thing, just always making sure that the backing musicians were just kind of under her thumb at all times.
LARPing as manager.
Yeah, the whole thing was like an elaborate cosplay.
You mentioned the cafe thing. There was another instance where they went to get groceries and they were threatened to be kicked off the tour because they didn't tell them that.
What the fuck?
It's just groceries.
It's not just groceries. You're in a foreign land. You've lied to these people. You've told them that they're going to play sold out shows, and then expenses paid European tour.
You gave us a food budget. Let us use it.
Jesus Christ. Not on my watch, or not on my watch. I don't know. He seems like a deeply lonely man.
So,
not be surprised.
Is this him playing all the guitar stuff on this record?
Yes.
Is that the deal?
And the bass and the drums. It's him doing everything.
You would think he would mix the bass, like you would be able to hear the instruments.
No, he only wants you to hear his rocking guitar. He's not a bad guitarist.
No, he's not.
I'm going to give him that.
He's not.
I would also say he's not a bad vocalist sometimes.
I know. See,
He's not using his voice properly, and that's sort of nitpicking.
It's a shitty like style that like I don't really like, but like it's capable. Like there's a lot of it that feels capable, which is why like I take issue with the comparison that I've heard, which is that this guy is like the Tommy Wiseau of metal or whatever, and it's like no, Tommy Wiseau was like a total disaster, a charming as fuck disaster. Like he absolutely had the spectacular meltdown vibe of Tommy Wiseau, but Tommy Wiseau, and like the room became so fascinating because it was so terrible.
Right.
It was
It's
so
inept,
atrocious.
but never boring.
Exactly. And this is
like
this is
just,
boring.
Yeah, this is like, has just enough acumen to sort of like be bland.
Right.
I would also say, touching back on Jared Threatin's vocal style, that he does not have much range, I would say. Like, his vocal style is perfectly fine for what it is, but...
Oh, he's only singing like 3 or 4 notes.
He does not seem to understand, like, moods or anything like that. Because there are a couple of more ballady songs on here, and he's still just...
human emotion. I think
That's
he's kind
that's
of like
entirely
one of
possible.
those, like, he might be like a little sociopathic, like, weirdo, like, kind of
I'm
vibe.
just gonna scream my emotions.
Well, he completely cut off his entire family like that. He created an entire fake tour, manipulated like hundreds of people in order to do that, right?
Oh, yeah. Textbook narcissism.
Right,
sure.
definitely textbook narcissism, but there's a level, right, the manipulation piece kind of reeks of like that sociopathic kind of vibe of like, I don't care who, I'm ruthless, I'm gonna just do whatever I want, and who cares
Sort
what
of
the consequences
megalomaniacal,
are. And then meanwhile his lyrics have like the emotional depth of like a fucking 4th grader, so like maybe he doesn't feel.
So you mentioned, like, the fake entities. Let's talk about one of those for a second. So there's no website available for stage right bookings, and when you search for it on Google, the only hits related to it are talking about Threatin's European tour. Why none of the venues bother to check on that is confusing. Superlative Music, however, does have a website, and it's still up even in spite of all of the stuff that's come out, revealing it all to be fake. I mean, it was very easily connected to Threatin's own GoDaddy account after some research, and it includes an extensive artist roster. To Jared's credit, he was at least smart enough not to give himself top billing among the 40-plus artists supposedly on their roster, including a ton of fake bands and very real actual bands: Box Tops, Jellyfish, Strangelove, Material Issue, Jim James, Gary Allen, Curve, Youngbloods, and The Cars.
What?
You
The
heard
Cars?
me. The Cars.
No.
Do you suppose any of these bands or artists are aware that they've been part of this organization this whole time?
Man, that is a wide net.
Wow.
And much like a promotional video, I didn't realize it was this easy to just have an artist management agency either. You could just rattle off a bunch of bands and singers nobody's thought about in a while, mixed with a few fake ones, and nobody would check on that.
That is a thing though. Like, and that I know in the DIY like music scene that there's something to be said about making up a fake label or whatever. If you do actually have support, or if you do actually, like, if you're just trying to get in the door and you're using, like sometime, or not even like a fake label, but like creating an email address for your like manager or whatever.
Sure.
And people I know have done that, and then done that and gotten shows where otherwise it wouldn't be taken seriously as an indie DIY artist or whatever.
Right. They were probably smart enough, though, not to list among their roster the
cars.
The fucking cars.
The cars. Yeah, no.
Speaking of which, now's probably as good a time as any to mention that Pat and I are starting our own music agency that we want to invite your hip-hop group Solo Sex onto.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's called Completely Legitimate Recordings. You might recognize some of the names on our roster. Who are some of the names on there, Pat? Sponge?
Oh, yeah, Sponge is on there.
Deep Blue
wow.
Deep Blue something.
Yeah, we
Buffalo Tom?
Yeah, they're on there. The rapper Skilo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Skilo.
Who else? And the Cars.
And the Cars. Leftover Crack is on there as
yeah.
well. We got the Quad City DJs. All of them. We got all of them.
Yep. Every single Quad City
quad
DJs.
of them.
Yeah, a whole quad of them. There's 4.
And we've got Ashford, but not Simpson.
Oh, okay. Do you have just the sons but no Mumford?
Yes. We have all the sons.
The elder Mumford.
God.
We have sons but no lone Mumford. So think on that.
I guess I will.
While we're thinking on that, let's get to track number 4. An interesting choice to follow up several songs worth of sad boy, hard boy metal tropes with a cover of a morose song about love lost and eventually regained. Let's have a listen to The Place Between.
Take me to the place far away from
That doesn't sound like Dave Matthews Band at all.
Yeah, you tricked me.
That was also my first comment, which is that I'd definitely rather listen to Space Between than this.
Sounds like the early aughts, but not the right kind of early aughts.
No.
Hearing more Hoobastank on
More
this
like
song.
The early aught knots.
Early knots.
Early ought not. Like they ought not to have fucking done this, please.
So I guess there's like a slappy bass line the track's centered around.
Oh, that's
which is,
right. We got some
which
slap.
is kind of okay, I guess. It's
Getting
still
funky. He's a funky monkey.
It's still produced so thin and trebly, though.
Oh, it's terrible.
And so many tracks in, I guess
Treblable.
that can be.
I'm sorry.
And once again, so many tracks in, pretty much all that can be said for Jared is that he's good at playing guitar and his vocals are decent-ish, but the lyrics are still just scenester garbage, however.
Well, and it's just so generic, right? Like it's fine, I suppose. It's so like not compelling though, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's so boring. And yeah, there's everything feels a bit rushed. And I think that's the only thing I like about that I could say is good about this album is that the songs are pretty quick. There's nothing like
Yeah, it's
much
always a
longer
bad
than 4
sign
minutes.
when like the best part about an album is that it's like over with quicker than you thought it would.
Yeah,
be.
it's definitely not
Yeah.
saying much.
There's no 8-minute overdrive Soul Quest explosion.
No, certainly not. And in fact, that would have been really awful to have to endure.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Spoiler alert:
Also,
we don't really get
also
that.
at one point, he rhymes edge with attempts. How dare you? How dare you?
What?
How dare you, Jared Threatin? How dare you?
Oh yeah, I wrote that down, and there is no way to see. Just standing on the edge, it shall remain the same from your attempts. For what the fuck does
No.
that mean?
No, thank
and
you.
And also, how do you? Yeah, like the only reason he can rhyme that with edge is because he says every word like like he doesn't say the word anymore.
The most diagonal of slant rhymes.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the point he's trying to get across?
I don't
in this,
understand what that sentence means.
Some of the sentences just sound angry, but they don't actually make any sense if you were to like say it out loud.
Guys, you know
They're
what?
just completely disjointed,
You know
anger.
what I You know what I think this might just very well be?
A bunch of bullshit.
Definitely a bunch of fucking bullshit.
You know what else I think this might have been? This might have been like an angry Jeep made into audio form.
Oh my god, you're right. Those grumpy headlights.
I'm so mild.
Well, again, because he's like imitating an emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like he feels it genuinely or has any sort of
Like
charisma or
Like he doesn't
from fucking L.A. He probably fucking goes surfing all day or whatever. And he has a great old time.
He's actually from Missouri.
Yeah, he's from a town of like 10,000 in Missouri.
Oh, this is all
Kind of
making a
makes
little more sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's like how Riff Raff's name was Horst Simcoe. Did you know that?
Horst Simcoe.
His real name that he grew up in like a middle of nowhere town in fucking Texas, and his name was Horst Simcoe.
That is.
He
That
was
is
like a
amazing.
Lutheran, like he grew up Lutheran and like a strict family, and his name is Horst Simcoe. And then he
is-
invented himself this alternate identity as like a fucking, candy painted like hip hop, like Southern hip hop artist.
Oh, right.
And it was all a lie.
That is pretty
Just so you know.
amazing.
But he made like some bad music and
And now-
is a questionable person, but also some great music.
And now he's rapping with Anthony Milonakis, basically.
Well, no, that's what he started out as. He was making YouTube videos with Andy Milonakis in the car.
That is all pretty amazing.
It is kind of that's a nice little tangent to go on because I have nothing else to say about this fucking song at all.
I will say before we move on to the next song, if you want to cue this clip up, so I brought with me an audio clip of basically one of the bands that they toured with. Like basically
The Cars?
Yes, the Cars. They took a YouTube video of Threatin's
Horst
set.
Simcoe.
Yeah, and it's pretty depressing. Like, here's the clip from it. It was taken by guitarist Mark Hutton from the band Loot, who quote-unquote opened for Threatin. And like the fake live footage, it sounds pretty terrible, so apologies in advance. It's from their Manchester show at Rebellion.
Ooh,
I kept that in on purpose.
that
They're
little
one
ooh.
fan.
That was Kelsey. You know that was Kelsey.
So you can just kind of make it out, but I mean, even amidst all the camera phone grade audio, you can kind of make out that this is a band that doesn't sound fully confident in itself, and it definitely doesn't sound like an internationally touring act. I describe what's happening in the video, but no description I can give can top the original source. Here's Metal Sucks writer Vince Neilstein describing the live footage. It's pretty much what you'd expect. 4 guys that look a whole lot like they're in a local band, not a critically acclaimed international touring act. Complete with the expensive stage background and scrims, those bastions of try-hard local bands everywhere, playing for a room and sounding pretty damn mediocre. Yeah, way to hit it on the fucking head, Vince Neilstein.
Yeah.
Come on the
Neilstein.
podcast and review Love Beach with us.
Is that like a nom de plume?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
Vince Neil, isn't that the guy from Motley
Motley
Crue? Yeah.
Yeah. They have an interesting sort of conceit. Like the two main
I'm John Lennonston.
the two main
Very nice.
the two main writers are Vince Neilstein and this is good. Axl Rosenberg,
Oh my goodness.
which I am all in favor of.
All right.
Okay, so all right, okay.
All right.
So track number 5.
Plenty to apologize for next week.
Yep, track number 5 titled "If Need Be," and I will just say right now, it need not.
Close your eyes, then you'll see. Lost inside, lost with me. All this fake, nothing's clear.
Another music video track, ostensibly intended to be a single as well, and I mean, it's billed as a music video, but it's quite clearly a lyric video. And I say lyric video, but it's quite clearly a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, what? That's amazing.
Okay, it's literally all it is a cascade of random note-style chunks of lyrics surrounded by promotional photos of Jared looking vulnerable, but hardcore, but introspective, but metal.
With like bullet points for the lyrics. Just there with like a mouse.
Love
like,
is blind.
at one-
Blind to me. I can't see much past me, which
Yes,
is
exactly.
A, physically true because he has so much hair in his face, and then like secondarily, like clearly like metaphorically true because he can't see beyond his own fucking ego to recognize what a fucking terrible decision all of this was.
Yeah, if you watch the video, the one through line that you will get through it is like, boy, he loves him.
He loves him.
I mean, I wish I had that level of self-esteem, that I could just put out a music video for any one of my numerous musical projects that's just a waterfall of glamour shots and go, yeah.
Yeah, and bullet points of fucking just the most insipid shit. Although there's a little bit of introspection here. Although I'm sure, I don't know if he was actually referring to himself, but telling lyrics like, all is fake, nothing's clear, play pretend, to seem real. Truer words have never been said, Jared.
What kind of Joe Rogan bullshit is this?
Joe Rogan. Actually, he definitely shouted out to Joe Rogan when he made his big statement.
We will get to
That's
that
why I
big
think there's
statement.
something sinister about him. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
feel like this is
wow.
the kind of guy that thinks that, like, Ben
plot
Shapiro's
thickens.
edgy and shit. Like,
This is a guy that has been
he's a
waiting.
libertarian.
This
You
is
know
a
what I
guy-
mean?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
This is a guy
He's
who's
an
been
ANCAP.
He's been waiting all of his life to hear Joe Rogan ask him if he's ever taken DMT.
Oh my god.
Basically.
I feel like this guy hasn't though. Like, you might like get humbled a little bit by the
By the vision
awe-inspiring
of yourself.
splendor of the universe. But actually, yeah, it didn't work on Joe Rogan either. So here
yeah, I
we
guess
are.
not.
Man, just look at this band. This asshole is being like considered among the ranks of other artists that we've done, like Prince, David Bowie, Billy Idol.
What was the Prince? What was the Prince one you guys
We did
We
Come.
did Come.
The album?
Yeah, it was not a terrible album.
Yeah, because he's Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the worst of Prince,
Right.
and we did a whole episode of that. But
I will say I'm genuinely surprised your episode had no tracks from Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because that's the one Prince album I would say that I vehemently dislike.
didn't like. Yeah, I mean, it's no chlorine bacon skin, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you're right, you're right. So let's move on to track number 6, if we
Okay.
must. Track number 6,
We must.
titled Identity.
The one who speaks his mind is ostracized for so long. 'Cause words with two meanings have no identity. Identity.
It's such a fucking bedroom demo. It's it's so thin. Like, if those cymbals just sound like the most MIDI cymbal you could possibly get. Like, there's no dimension to them, no atmosphere to them.
Like he got his cat angry.
Yeah, you got a cat angry.
I feel like I was groaning, like, to the point where I felt like I was going to cough up a hairball. Like, I'm just...
And we would not have blamed you. So this is the third song with a music video. It's not a lyric video this time. What it is instead is Jared performing in an empty room in between inexplicable black obelisks that he occasionally leans on and looks menacing against. Also, they're stop-motion drawing mannequins because Tool.
Yeah.
They're coming to save the day.
Actually, that's not even a fair assessment. If this were a Tool music video, these mannequins would be like, I don't know, there'd be like rusty nails everywhere they'd be stroking, and there's an anthropomorphic slab of beef writhing on the floor. Here, the mannequins open doors.
Well, aren't they polite?
That is polite. That's true.
Got those going for them. Good job, obelisks.
It seems like he's having a bit of an identity crisis. Like a real one. Like, okay, the lyrics to this, quote, "No one is ever much like me, you see, and it feels so good." Like,
see here's the thing. You were talking about libertarianism a second ago. I think this is his big libertarian song. Like, he wrote this just after reading like half of an article on Reason.
Yeah,
rugged individualism.
Oh, exactly.
Definitely.
No,
I mean,
he's watched the Red Pill documentary a couple of times, and he sees through the fucking
like here's another
veil, man.
Yeah, here's another
read
line.
the Turner Diaries.
Here's another line from it. I'm not the same as all the others. Not me. Can't make believe I am forever. Not me. I won't be changed by your complaints. I'd rather die than be another. Not me.
Ooh,
so you know he's no NPC.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. We were talking about that in a recent episode. That story, that like narrative about leftists
That
being
is the dumbest. That is the dumbest meme to come out.
But that's what they want you to think. God, can't you see through the fucking bullshit, man? Can't you, like, chemtrails and fucking, God, I don't know, man. I don't even know. I can't even make fun of it anymore because those people have, like, taken over our government.
How
so, like,
dare multiple people have the same opinion at the same time?
Right.
Completely organically.
Yeah, listen. Okay, even more lending credence to that theory. His lyric, quote, "Move on. The one who speaks his mind is ostracized for so long because words with two meanings have no identity."
Oh, no. This is
me.
This is about Trump, isn't it?
It's always about Trump, isn't it?
Oh no! How could you, Jared Threatin?
Yeah, well,
this guy he's
a very Trumpy kind of guy. I mean, like,
this guy totally shares Ben Garrison cartoons.
Yeah, he totally has pictures of himself on his wall of wild crowds at his shows. You know what I mean? He won the popular vote. You know?
Oh boy.
I thought you were gonna say he had like
it was
giant
the promoters. They fucked up, right?
Giant, like, I thought you were gonna say he had like giant pictures of Trump as like an anthropomorphic lion.
He probably has a tattoo of that on his chest.
Oh no, he's a Kekistani.
Drawn by all those same guys that are always drawing Trump as Superman.
Oh my
God. With a big bushy beard for some reason.
You gotta cover up the chins, I guess.
Which neither Trump or Superman has ever had.
Superman's beard. I mean, it's so iconic.
So here's another piece of information that was gradually revealed over time. Jared didn't just spend all of his time and energy misinforming hapless people with fake websites and views. He also did it with Wikipedia articles.
Oh my God.
As Metal Sucks were breaking the story, one regular reader alerted them to a long string of moderators and admins discussing the deletion of the Threatin Wikipedia page. Now, this currently exists only because of the scandal, but previously existed due to the efforts of a user named Lisa Golding, which all evidence points to being yet another alias of Jared. I took a look through the back and forth between Lisa/Jared and the moderators of Wikipedia, and, well, you already know Jared has a pretty high opinion of himself. Here's a few choice excerpts from the conversation between all the moderators. Quote, "Can you..." Oh, here come the cops. Anyway, quote,
Threatin is suing us.
They heard us talking about chemtrails here.
Quote, Can you explain the regular usage of promotional language such as the famous musician Threatin and an award-winning solo artist who recently rose to fame and is considered one of the most influential figures in current rock music in your edit summaries? Quote, the article does not contain any reliable sources. Every reference is related to the subject or to sites such as toprockpress.com or celebritymusicscene.com, etc. I'm not going to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but this all seems to be a very elaborate promotional scheme, which has not worked out due to the article averaging 3 views per day.
Oh, this was in the edit history?
Yeah,
this was like the back and forth.
This is the moderators
Sick
talking
burn,
back. This is the moderators
Wikipedia
talking back
editors.
and forth between themselves, trying to decide whether
God.
to. One more.
Who knew they were so spicy?
Quote,
yeah.
There are too many coincidences regarding the creator of these articles and type of sources being cited. The quote-unquote New York Music Review source is particularly egregious. It pretends to be a sister site of the New York Times, yet is actually a WordPress website, and seemingly has no articles on its domain other than the one about the subject of this AFD. Promotional tripe such as this undermines the whole encyclopedia.
Wow.
So they're doing their job. If you feel like reading the whole exchange for yourself, it's still up at wikipedia.org/wiki/articles_for_deletion/threaten.
Be sure to donate.
It's a real trip.
I mean, they're doing the Lord's work.
Oh yeah.
Wikipedia mods, yeah, don't fuck with them. They will get to the source.
I feel like this whole album is like the soundtrack for dudes wearing trip pants with superfluous straps and thinking that
Trip
they're vampires. You know what I mean? Because they,
Trip pants today.
yeah, trip
Oh,
pants.
so they're still in
today.
Norwood, Massachusetts.
It's too real.
Shout out to my hometown, everybody.
Norwood.
You sure you want to do that, Pat?
Nope.
I have a friend from Norwood.
Oh, really?
Who's really cool. So there must have been 2 of you.
Oh, I mean, what was their name?
Janelle Valencia.
Oh, why does that name sound familiar?
She's probably, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Yeah, she's much younger than you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but she was cool. There was, one a decade that comes out, I guess. Probably,
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't me. It was definitely.
It was that guy Kyle, man. He was awesome.
Oh, dude, he had the sickest leather jacket. He showed me all the
Skateboard.
cool tunes.
He always bought everyone Milwaukee's best.
Oh,
He
yeah.
went on a European tour. Wait a second.
His name was Jared.
Oh my God! We're through the looking glass.
What was Jared's Christian name? Do we know his real last name?
It was Jared.
But his last name was Eames because,
Oh, right. Okay.
because his brother makes an appearance in
Right.
this saga.
We'll get to him a little
Okay.
later.
All right. Well, should
I
we
don't know
move to the next
press forward.
song after this
yeah,
one?
it seems like we have pretty much nothing.
Yeah, we're making up elaborate conspiracy theories about Jared being.
I mean,
from
that's really the only
Patrick's
way to.
hometown and-
That's really the only way to make this album sound interesting.
There's so many holes in this story.
Yeah.
We're really, we're just throwing darts at whatever the fuck we can find.
Apparently, we keep getting close because the cops keep coming
Yep.
back.
Oh, I know. Damn.
They know
They're
too
on us.
much.
Oh boy!
Boom.
All right, but Saliva wasn't on this tour anyway. Let's cue up track number 7, titled "Rip Through These Chains."
Stay away, nothing's safe, leave me be. Coming back, it's a sight, light the way. Stay away, nothing's safe, set me free.
So this pretty much confirms it. Jared only knows how to belt. Because there's an acousticy part right at the beginning where it's just like, sing quiet. Even the guy from Fall Out Boy sang quiet sometimes, but nope. He's got to stay away all the time.
Rip through these chains. Okay, more like rip through these fucking wallet chains, my dude. Like, rip through these chain restaurants. Like, this is some fucking Panera metal. Like, it's so fucking boring.
I like that, Panera Metal.
Totally.
Not only because it's almost Pantera.
Right.
So all that we've
The
learned...
closest we'll get on this whole fucking album.
So all that we've learned about Jared Threatin and his incredibly high self-esteem paint the guy as a typical local scenester way too big for his britches. Someone who thinks they're Axl Rose when really they're only kind of a quarter of the way towards being Ed Roland.
Oh, God.
I mean, there's just nothing like particularly hip about the genre of music that he's doing either. So like, I don't get
Yes.
where all this high sense of importance comes from.
Yeah.
Delusion, narcissism.
So if there was any indication of this leading up to the tour, it likely either didn't hit the touring musicians that Jared hired, or Jared was really good at, like, keeping it to himself. Because none of them figured out that something was amiss until they were actually in Europe. These musicians were bassist Gavin Carney, drummer Dane Davis, and guitarist Joe Prunera, whom we were actually able to make contact with through Facebook and ask what the rehearsals were like.
Wow.
Joe's answer, pretty standard stuff, actually. He said the rehearsal process leading up to the tour was pretty typical. After I was offered the part in July, I went down to his house for the next 2 weekends for rehearsals. The first weekend was just him and I working on guitar parts, and then we had our first full band rehearsal. After that, I would go down there roughly every other weekend for band rehearsals. I would say the rehearsals were pretty typical for a band who was getting ready to go on the road for the first time together. So
we ate pancakes.
So pretty standard stuff. Like, if he had, like, as big of an ego as he seems to, he was really good at hiding it at that point.
Or everyone else involved with this was totally delusional too. Like they were struggling musicians from Las Vegas that were willing to like drive to LA to like participate in the fantasy. It's amazing what the level of like hubris of like, you know, just entitlement will bring you. Especially this white male entitlement of like, we want to be like rock stars and we deserve this.
That's also probably true. I mean, how often...
It's like a bad, like, creepy cult, like, I don't know, like
how
the
often
lamest cult ever, like
like how often do you come across an all expenses paid trip to Europe, basically, like just on its own? Like,
I have a feeling
it seems way too good to be true.
A few of these musicians are going to be definitely taking advantage of this sort of unexpected notoriety that they're getting all of a sudden. And perhaps are sort of grateful for
one of
it.
them even stayed on the tour, but I'm pretty sure he did because he was waiting for money to get back home.
Oh yeah, that would be Gavin Carney, who literally stayed on because he couldn't afford a plane ticket and he had nowhere to stay. He stayed on, and
no.
Can I stay on your couch?
I wasn't going to bring this up until the very end, but Gavin Carney was one of the few members that basically did not begrudge Jared Threatin, and all the way to the end...
Stockholm Syndrome.
All the way to the end, he didn't even believe it was a scam. Like, he was... like
he was Jared Threatin the whole time.
Like, he acknowledged that some crazy stuff went down, but still was willing to give Jared the benefit of the doubt that there was...
Or didn't go down. That's the whole thing, is that, like, it was crazy and absurd in the sheer audacity of it, but, like, nothing actually exciting happened. It was so sad. It must have been so sad.
For the crowds.
God.
Yeah,
the people.
Yeah, that's the thing that tipped the rest of the musicians off. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary to them until they reached the UK and discovered their first tour stop. Stop that Jared had hyped would be seating 1,000 to 1,500 people, only had the capacity for about 500.
What is the level of delusion that you need to experience to be able to lie to people to their face and tell them there will be 1,500 people at a show that you've sold 0 tickets to?
He must have, like, never had any doubts this whole time. Like, he was so confident.
Maybe he was in a cult. Maybe he moved to L.A. and joined Scientology, and they were like, listen, just think positively.
I
and
mean,
he was like, here you go.
I'm sure that's a big part of it, too.
We don't know what's going on in Missouri, so that's entirely possible.
Right.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. So let's move on from that to track number...
Let's please.
Track number 8, which I really wish applied to this situation, titled A Memory Forgotten. Yep, we got a buzz ballad on our hands.
So we didn't hear it in the clip there, but there's like a piano bit at the beginning that kind of made me think he's trying to do his own version of 1959 by Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah, there's extended keyboard like bookends that really hammer the forgettableness home, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my God, this is a very fucking forgettable ballad.
Yeah,
ballad,
and
as you
more
put,
more
if you will.
foreshadowing on the part of Jared, who realizes that none of us will be talking about this in 6 months.
Good point.
But we'll have this podcast to look back on and
Yeah.
remember, hey,
I hate to once again connect Jared Threatin to another much better band, but this is like, an also ran AFI B-side more than anything.
Oh, for
oh my
sure.
God. Yeah.
That like
Ooh.
6/8 beat, yeah, it feels a bit like I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Me too. It's
I've forgotten memory
fucking-
at this point.
yeah, right.
I saw what you did there.
Sorry, Davey Havoc. Come
Yeah.
on the show sometime.
Yes,
and
come
Like
review
on.
some
Love
like
Beach.
Morning Star or whatever. Like wasn't that they had a
There's a specific song I was thinking of. I can't remember what it
Sing the
was
Sorrow. This is all gonna get cut out of this, but now I need to know.
called. Oh man. If you know what song we're talking about from the minimal clues we've given you.
Yeah, remember that like slow AFI song that was
Remember
like,
that song that sounded like a thing?
AFI was never a band. This is just a Mandela effect right now.
Yes. We're
like God Called in Sick Today? Was it that one?
Yeah, I think that might have been it
I
actually.
caught in the twisting of the vine.
That's it. That's the one.
Oh, okay, that's we're all just really desperate
Yeah.
to be listening to anything else other than this.
Like any better band
Well,
from
listen,
2005
also,
would be.
that is
much
when
better.
that's the song that we came up with. If we're gonna have an AFI cover band, we're gonna call it Murderous Filigree after the stupid fucking lyrics in that.
I like that.
song.
Good
AFI had some
God.
stupid lyrics, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
At least they had syllables. Let me tell you what, too many syllables, but they had them. Ample ones.
Kind of
Those guys at least threw in some fucking blues riffs every so often. Like I'm hearing
They
the
were
same
good.
exact progression on every song on this
Yeah.
album, and
Yeah.
it's so hackneyed. I mean, I feel like I'm nitpicking and kind of old manning here, but it just sounds so amateurish to me.
Yeah.
Save it for your other podcast about old men yelling at clouds.
Okay, sorry. We'll do Threatin on that show.
Yeah, he sounds like he's covering himself.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So where are we in the timeline at this point? Jared's met his tour mates. They've practiced. They've gone overseas. The first few shows have gone by with barely any attendance.
They
Now-
took a boat.
Yes, they took a boat. Arr, matey, Threatin off the port bow.
Took the Threatin tugboat. The USS Threatin.
Their guitars doubled as the oars.
Come on, Tuggy, we're going to Belfast.
It should be called like Lil Threatin, but there's like an apostrophe at the end of Threatin. Just threaten around with the boys.
So anyway, the band is coming upon their stop in Belfast, Ireland to perform at the Empire. By this point, however, Prunera and the rest of the backing band have caught wind of the developing story around Jared because the internet never sleeps. It was there in Ireland that Prunera decided to confront Jared along with Carney. Davis was away visiting relatives. The confrontation ended up relatively fruitless, with Jared skirting the issue and claiming that his promoter and manager had screwed things up. The promoter and manager, the same ones that would be tied back to Jared's own email address, mind you.
And that nobody has ever met or talked to.
He stated, "I'm the guy. I'm the artist. I just show up and play. Everyone else takes care of the other stuff." The band demanded to speak to Jared's mystery promoter, himself, asking for a phone number to call. But Jared would only give him an email address, one of his own, insisting that he had been contacted only by email. The band never got the answers they were looking for. They just knew they had to get out of the situation before it got worse.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go on an entire European tour only having received an email. You fucking go on.
I'm going to go on a European tour where I have a food budget.
What the fucking Christ?
And a curfew.
So Prunera and Davis...
by 9 p.m. and you can only spend
You kids had better not be having any Dunkaroos back there.
You better give me all them Dunkaroos. I'm gonna be sourcing them out to you. So I take all of them and I give you a daily allowance of Dunkaroos a day. Listen, I'm not made of fucking Dunkaroos, am I?
We only have so much in the budget for Dunkaroos money.
We all gotta save the same frosting bucket.
I'm just the Dunkaroo guy. I go to the place where there's Dunkaroos and I do the thing. So anyway,
Did he trick the Dunkaroos guy too?
this
Jukebox Zeroes now sponsored by Dunkaroos.
this conspiracy just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So Prunera and Davis quit on the spot to return to the U.S. Carney, as we mentioned, was unable to gather the funds for a plane ticket, so he opted to resume the tour with Jared, which was just guitar and bass. Barely, that's not an international touring band.
No.
The show at Belfast would ultimately be canceled in the same afternoon. So it's all slowly starting to fall apart.
Slowly? This seems pretty rapid.
Okay, that we're aware of then.
And right. And like, and there was never really an ascent to descend from. It was like we started off at baseline and fucking went underground.
I mean, yeah.
How big was this venue in Belfast, by the way?
If it's anything like all the other venues,
couple
probably
hundred, right?
Yeah, the first venue was a 500.
Jesus Christ!
Seat of 500 people. So that's
the amount of fucking confidence, delusional white male bullshit confidence that has to fuel something like that. Because it's apparently, according to his brother, who came out and said, kind of confirmed, my brother's a total dick. It's we didn't get raised, we weren't super well off. Nobody's bankrolling this. He truly did, save up his own money for this. But it's, the amount of fucking...
It's just why did he choose to, allocate his resources this way? And I guess it really speaks to, how, you listen to the record, there's nothing remarkable there. So this is where he has to exceed. This is where he feels like he can excel in the world.
It reminds me because my husband, his job is he runs ballot initiatives. He gets candidates will pay him to put them on the ballot, and he gets these crazy motherfuckers that have absolutely no chance of winning, but want to say, you know what, I'm running for mayor or I'm running for governor. There's this guy named Rocky De La Fuente who runs for fucking
Really?
president every year, and he and my husband gets hired to hire people to go all around every single state to get Rocky De La Fuente, and he never makes a percentage point.
God.
He's completely unknown by anybody, but he's so rich that he's whatever.
That
all of
is
his political
amazing.
ads are fucking wrestling promos.
Yeah, literally, it sounds like and it's and that's actually kind of a similar vibe.
the taxes.
This guy is a much less charismatic, WWE, wrestler. You know what I mean? He could be on NXT and then go nowhere.
I gotta stop you right there. I think I know what we're all thinking. Can your husband get him on the podcast to review Love Beach with us?
Oh man, I want to be Mr. De La Fuente.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's get De La Fuente on here. I could probably get Vermin Supreme, who also runs for.
That would be such a good.
I've had him on my radio show.
He's too
before.
good.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
he's in Vermont though, right?
New Hampshire.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
He's that close?
nearby. He's great. I'm actually in his documentary briefly.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can take him to the Shag's hometown.
I was gonna say we got to go to
yeah.
Fremont and meet with
Go to
Shag.
Fremont.
Get some Shag's pancakes.
Oh
Yep,
yeah, you
Silver Bell
guys
pancakes.
did the Shags too.
I love those
Yeah,
guys.
I love the Shags. I love the Shags. I'm a
Such
Dot Wiggins truther.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man.
Helen was the drummer, right?
Can you
Yeah,
tell how
we-
much
we
we
fucking
don't want to
love
talk
Helen.
about the fucking band Threatin and
Yep.
the album that we have been charged to discuss today?
Yeah.
I'm begging for the Shags.
There's
Sadly,
at least some genuine,
Emotion.
emotion happening
Yeah,
there.
humanity.
some likability.
Oh yeah, that's important. Likability is very important.
Right.
Definitely lacking on this album because I do not like this fucking guy.
No.
You know what the worst part is? We've still got 4 songs
God,
left.
okay, let's hurry it up.
All right. Track number 9. We're moving it along to track number 9, titled Impulse.
As I feel the impulse rising, the impulse taking hold. The impulse taking hold.
Oof. Just oof.
Fucking terrible. This fucking Zac Efron metal we
So
got going on
take
here.
this song, add a turntable or a synthesizer making superfluous bleepity bloops, and you'd basically have an edema song.
Edema. An edema reference on this show in 2018.
I was feeling Breaking Benjamin too.
You guys all forgot they existed.
I completely fucking forgot they
That's
existed.
Korn's little brother.
mean, on top of that, I'm pretty sure I've heard the line "the impulse taking hold" in some nu metal song back during my embarrassing nu metal phase in high school by some also ran band.
Oh, what was the? their
Listen,
song
that was just preparing you for your future for doing this.
I want to say it was Finger 11, but it could have just.
Oh God!
but it could've-
Finger 11.
but it
What
could've-
a thing.
But it could have just as easily been Il Nino.
Oh, I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I hate every reference you've just made. I have the impulse to skip to the next fucking track, my dudes. Like, I'm really just...
Yeah, not really much to say about this one.
Yeah.
It's just kind of more of the same.
It sounds like they literally started the song over again halfway through the song. Like, I'm pretty sure they did half a song and then they were like, well, we'll repeat that 4 times.
Right. Nothing to say about the song, so let's just talk about where we're at in the timeline right now.
Yeah, God.
So at this point, the band consists entirely of Jared and Gavin Carney on bass. So that's
Dream team.
That's no tour. It wouldn't be long before the rest of the tour would end up canceled, leaving the duo without a tour entirely. Leading up to this point, Metal Sucks, not content to just let the story run its course, had been doing all kinds of deep digging to find out anything about Jared that wasn't just manufactured out of whole cloth. And on the 14th of November, they laid out all of their findings in one long text dump of an article. Jared Threatin was the stage name of 29-year-old Jared Eames, who was a native of Missouri, later moving to California. Before Threatin, Eames was the brainchild behind another one-man project, the black metal band Satith, which for all accounts seems to have been a more legitimately successful band than Threatin was. At various points, Satith acted as a local opener for major extreme metal acts such as Cannibal Corpse, the Black Dahlia Murder, and Vital Remains.
What the fuck?
Oh my God! Wait, Vital Remains. My friend was in Vital Remains.
Really?
Oh, that's great.
That's like a whole other thing.
Can he hook us up with Jared Threatin?
Well, like, okay, so
We'll
this,
see.
this
I don't
was
know
in,
if we'll hear this.
This was in Missouri, right? So, like, that's a pretty good gig to have.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my God.
to be
here-
from
here-
Missouri and to just...
Here's the thing. Jared even managed to lay groundwork for Threatin's own Doom tour by sneaking their way onto South American tours for bands like Destruction and Rotting Christ.
Yeah. Why
The-
not?
I mean, in spite of
Is Jared Threatin cool? No, he's not.
in spite of these
No,
success,
let's not mince words.
in spite of these successes, Satith never managed to expand past the role of a local opener. To put it in perspective, they were a band that could headline a show at Ralph's Rock Diner in Worcester and not go much higher than that.
That's a fucking fine place to
Also,
be,
yeah,
though.
this is the second diss on Ralph's Rock Diner, and those, they're saints over there. They make a great burger.
All right, I apologize. I played with Transdusk there earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a great time. The decor,
But, like, that's-
fantastic.
And yes, their burgers were really good.
They're really great.
But, like,
Anyway,
here's the thing, though. Like, Cannibal Corpse, those guys are like, I guess, the quote-unquote big time, if you can.
Yeah, they're one of the
call
first
it.
names in death metal.
But they're, like, also, they're all fucking 50 years old. They've been in the game for a long-ass time. Like, Jared, just, like, pay your
Jared.
dues. Like, relax.
or
Like,
get some charisma. Get something to say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he's got none of that.
Cut your teeth opening for these bands, and, like, you're on the right path. Like, shit, you're already doing better than me. I've never opened for fucking Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, and fucking instead of cutting
Okay,
his teeth,
okay, don't-
he
don't-
wanted to cut the line. He wanted to get right there and fucking, skip all the bullshit.
No.
Okay, so Pat, don't sell yourself short because I absolutely would attend a Cannibal Corpse smell bill.
Oh my god, how fucking great would that be?
Again, we're just fantasizing about better music.
Okay, before we open up the stage to the guys who were singing about, smashing skulls, Soul Smash Hammer and stuff like that, here's a song about cats. Here's a song about Garfield.
Calling my next album Lasagna, by the way. Stay tuned.
So one last thing I'll say about this is there's one parallel that can be drawn between Satith and Threatin by looking at their promotional materials, is that Jared's ego was enormous even back then. Like, the promotional photos featured Jared front and center, often cropping out his live musicians, as well as, and this is my favorite, offering superfluous vanity merchandise such as signature Satith guitar picks featuring Jared Eames' signature.
Oh my god, wait, I also noticed on their website, I went to the store and they had Threatin thongs and they were out of stock.
What?
Out of stock. Wow, man.
Yeah, out of stock.
Gotta fulfill.
More like never existed.
Yeah, probably that, right?
There's one-
listen, if
There's one sad fucking alpha pair out there.
the prototype. Kelsey's
Right.
definitely wearing it.
Stretch
Kelsey's
across. Yeah.
Kelsey's is autographed by him too.
Jared's wearing it. Nothing wrong with that.
He must be a
Now
delight to be married to.
I just have a picture of a sad Jared sitting next to just piles and piles of cardboard boxes,
Filled with-
a lone tear running down his face, and eventually dripping
man.
onto a signature thong.
That makes it worth more.
He wipes the tears with the thong.
For the
Moving
last
on.
time, brown.
Yes, let's move on.
Jarrett, I told you brown is a terrible color for underwear. Why did you choose that? You got boxes of them.
I'm just the guy. I just show up and make the thongs.
Track number 10, titled Conscious.
I am the one you never loved. Oh, I am the one who knows you. I am your conscious overdose. Oh.
Man, that acoustic guitar is
Yeah,
fucking
so-
garbage.
So prior to this song, every track we've come up against hasn't really registered much more of a reaction than it's not that good, but not much to speak of otherwise from me. But now I can safely say I've found a song that elicits a genuine reaction from me. I hate this song.
It is dumb.
It's not even that far gone from any of the other Breaking the World songs. It's much the same thinly produced, grr, I'm angry and sad at the same time metal that preceded it. But it's that fucking guitar, that slap-happy acoustic guitar. That's what is up with that production choice?
It's terrible.
It sounds like a MIDI guitar.
What's up with the lyrics, I am your conscious overdose? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, you're awake and conscious, but also overdosing? Or did you mean to say conscience? Because
You know,
You're overdosing
Like-
on your own conscious, man.
what does that
Doing
mean? That-
DMT.
it would be consciousness, and like, what are you talking about? Like, it makes no fucking sense,
See,
dude.
you know what just popped into my head when you said that? You know that meme where it's just like, hey, can I copy your homework? Okay, but make it look like you didn't do it. Like, imagine that, but Jared's going, hey, can I copy your homework to Sad But True by Metallica?
Yeah. Bored with my conscience, but I can't let go. Again, lending credence to the fact that he has no true emotions. When it's so easy just to be alone, I couldn't care less what you want to know. There's nothing you could say to change my mood.
Let's brought me some Dunkaroos. might take some little emotion
Oh,
out of me.
man. It's
So after, sorry.
bad. No, that's all I had to say.
So after the final nail had been dug into the coffin of Threatin's European tour, as more and more stories and interviews came out trying to figure just what the hell happened to what was going on, Jared himself remained quiet as stories continued to break before finally teasing a major announcement from him before he returned to America. Around the same time, another person with intimate knowledge of Jared surfaced to offer his 2 cents. His brother, Scott Eames, whom, as we mentioned earlier, is a live guitarist for Thy Antichrist. Like, I don't think I mentioned that. I just read my notes wrong. So Scott minced no words in his statement regarding Threatin. Here's, like, an abridged version of what he said, and it's still pretty long. All I can say is I'm disappointed in the choices my brother made. It's my opinion that with the same amount of effort and money, of which I'm sure he's borrowed a lot, there's no doubt in my mind with his talent that he could have done something in a legitimate and respectable manner. Instead, he's gone the route of manipulation and deceit. While he may try to spin it all as an elaborate hoax of sorts, I can assure you, knowing my brother, that this is indeed a failed attempt at entering the music industry. I've not spoken with Jared since 2012. It's true that my brother and I had a somewhat successful regional band together, but we split up mostly due to Jared wanting to take things in the direction you all see before you. I personally have no tolerance for these kind of antics.
Jesus H. Christ.
Take a special note of the part where he mentions an elaborate hoax, because that's going to be important to the next chunk of our story.
Wow. So, Jesus Christ.
Heather
man.
looks like she's just tired of life at this point.
I'm so exhausted by this fucking asshole.
He is an asshole.
He's just such a dick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So let's just quickly move on to track number.
I'm sorry.
the fabulous. I'm waiting for a good
No,
song to come up.
you're keeping the pace brisk with your complete total disdain for this album.
I know. I feel like
Someone's
my
gotta move
eye
this
rolls
along.
are audible. All
Track
right.
number 11, titled Fade Into Never.
I wish it would.
Please let this feeling take me home. I can't believe my eyes. I won't relive your life. Please let this feeling
He's only singing 2 notes. That's it.
So more of the same, except now it's in 3/4 time. So I guess that's
Or 12/8.
Yeah.
Either way.
So that's interesting-ish, kind of. No.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
our. I mean, it's not our first taste of the 3/4 meter on this album.
Yeah, 70 songs in, and he finally switches up the tempo. Like, what the fucking Christ? How low is our bar?
I mean, I guess the central riff is kind of catchy-ish, but at the same time, like, who gives a shit?
Oh, absolutely. There's just
This whole album was built on lies.
And all of his lyrics sound like an alien mimicking what actual emotions are like. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck okay, quote, "These tears are made of gold. You'll watch just how they're sold. Your misery you do not own. Blood drips from fingertips like moments you relive. Please let this feeling take me home. Yes, God, Jesus Christ, feeling take me home."
Talking to me with those words.
this is Mark Zuckerberg's high school lyric notebook.
Something like that. So I mentioned in the last... yeah, Heather speaks for all of us with that. So I mentioned in the last section about Jared remaining quiet as the tour kerfuffle unfolded around him, and also about an elaborate hoax that would come into play. The day before Scott Eames came out with his statement, Jared teased of a big announcement on the official Threatin Twitter account that supposedly would reveal everything. That was
Dun, dun, dun.
That was the 13th. The 14th arrived the next day, and not far from when Scott made his statement distancing himself from Jared, sure enough, the Threatin Twitter made a post, but not one that explained anything. If anything, it probably made anyone currently on the fence about their opinion of Threatin dip deep into the negative camp, if his having wasted the time and money of venues and touring musicians hadn't already done that. On November 14th at 1:11 p.m., he posted a cryptic message reading as follows. What is fake news? I turned an empty room into an international headline. If you are reading this, you are part of the illusion. Hashtag marketing, hashtag psychology, hashtag social media, hashtag fake news, hashtag threaten, hashtag breaking the world, hashtag music industry, at NBC News, at BBC News, at Joe Rogan, at Rolling Stone, at Billboard. Wow. Fuck you, Jared.
Get all the news sources, the important news sources in there.
Realize, motherfucker.
Yeah. This was all. This was all just one elaborate. This was all just one elaborate ploy to teach us about fake news. The lesson being.
I have the best words.
He tagged BBC and
Joe Rogan in the
He's
same
making sure
breath.
he's got all of them.
He sure taught us a lesson, though. The lesson being.
Bad people.
No, I tend to think that Scott was right all along about the hoax bit. It was a thinly veiled. It was very thinly was a stunt to get music industry attention that flamed out, and Jared, caught in the mess he made, was backpedaling to make it look like he intended this all along.
Oh, for sure. That's a total
course.
backpedal. And yeah.
I mean, I guess in some ways the stunt kind of worked, in that he got some attention from music blogs and, well, podcasts like this one.
Well, yeah, he's certainly got our
Fallen into
attention.
his trap.
It definitely helped
We're
his...
in the illusion, man.
We're part of the illusion. If anything, it helped his streaming numbers. On Spotify, his play count increased nearly 600% as the story broke, while views for his music videos increased as well. I mean, Living is Dying passed the 1 million views mark on YouTube.
Shit.
These are all very short-term positives, though, I feel like. I mean,
yeah.
Factor in the long-term cost of systematically pissing off all the venues he deceived, the touring musicians whose time he wasted, and all the negative attention he generated, as well as curiosity. And then what do you got? And this isn't even to mention how much money went into funding a stunt like this.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a joke now. He's got to be to all these
And
people.
it's a very thin joke. You know what I mean? It's like very funny in a moment, and then it will be definitely quickly eclipsed by many other stories.
And like the you know,
we're on the edge of its relevance right now. You know,
it's bands like this are they're a fucking dime a dozen. You can find so many other groups that sound exactly like this that are probably way better to deal with, way cooler, and you know, like just conduct themselves way more professionally than this guy does.
Right. Touching on the money real quick, in another interview conducted a few days after Threatin's explanatory tweet, Scott Eames said of Jared, "As far as I know, they were just like everybody else, just getting by. Nobody is bankrolling him or anything like that." The same interview also painted Jared as a genuinely talented musician whose ego was simply too big for someone of his level of fame as far back with his days of Satith. The kind of guy who regularly diminished the rest of his bandmates so he could be front and center, taking credit for the parts he never wrote or performed and refusing to share in any glory they received.
Well, that's how Donald Trump became president, so maybe he's got something
Pretty much.
there, right?
Maybe he sees something in the guy.
Yikes.
Me and Donnie, we're like this.
Hail Pepe.
Oof. But you know what? There's some light at the end of this stupid, shitty tunnel, because finally we're at the end. Track number 12.
Ah, thank God.
Unfortunately, the title of it is just as stupid as everything that preceded it. Track number 12 is titled All Your Pain.
Our belong to us.
Yeah.
From all your pain, all your pain. Oh, I've got to find the rain. I've got to find the rain. Oh.
It's the last song. It's another buzz ballad. It's still got that pop metal sad boy vibe. Nothing new to mention except that there are some truly stupid lyrics like before.
Like whispers screaming out your eyes, which, to be honest, that sounds painful.
Whoa.
Whispers screaming.
Whispers screaming out your eyes.
Oh, you pain.
Oh, man. Oh,
Daydreams-
I'm embarrassed for this guy.
Oh, man.
Daydreams bleeding out the sky, like the rain that keeps my thirst alive. Again.
And then him just saying,
wow.
like, where's the rain? Or, like, I need the rain or whatever, like, over and over. It's like, dude, it'll rain again. I mean, I know you're from LA, so maybe it's like a drought
maybe,
anthem. I don't
Maybe
think
it's him
so.
getting all, like, globally conscious and stuff. But
Doubt
no,
it.
I just like the idea that it's literally just him going like, where'd the rain go?
Where's it at?
He said it was supposed to rain today. Is it rain
I was
out?
going to record a really cool music video where I was in the rain.
I was going to put my snare out into the rain and it was
Where
going
are
to
my
make all kinds of
Where are my
temp-
Dunkaroos?
Wait, oh, yeah. Wait. No, I sang that song the other day. Rain, go away.
Oh.
Come up another day. Now I
What's that
think I
song?
fucked up. I fucked up.
What's that song called? Down in It by 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, so this song's dumb. It's kind of like acoustic or clean guitar driven, and then he brings in his stupid solo over it, and then we're done.
Stupid.
So all this leads to today. Jared Heems has been pretty much radio silent since his cryptic tweet. There's been no activity on any of Threatin's social media, and from the looks of it, the story has already disappeared into the ether, effectively ending Jared's rockstar dreams until he tries to pull off a South American tour or something.
Oh, I hope so.
I
That'd
bet-
be spicy.
That's probably cool. I bet if we tag him, then maybe he'll respond. Maybe we can bait him.
Yeah, maybe we can get him to come play the Middle East or something.
Oh no,
No,
I'm
he could-
not.
They're hard up for talent at this point.
Yeah, let's not even like.
Probably. No?
Yeah.
The Middle East isn't even good enough for Threatin?
No,
They
yeah.
do love abusive men there.
Yikes.
Maybe he'll play
I'm just saying. I think he'll respond to a tweet if we tweet at him this episode. Maybe we'll get some. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would engage in a fucking online war with us. So
I'll do that for
here's
him.
hoping.
I would waste my time doing that. Sure.
You know
why
who did?
not?
You know
I
who
mean,
did?
we already wasted so much. What's another?
He's already wasted my time. Yeah.
What's
You know
another 10
who
minutes?
did respond to us when I put the original announcement out? The Jared Threatin fan club, which quite clearly is a goof account.
Oh my god!
Because it's full of posts just being like, I can announce today that Jared Threatin is hosting the Oscars in 2019. This is the hashtag illusion, hashtag Oscars, hashtag breaking this thing. Sort of stuff like that.
breaking the what? What the fucking breaking the world? Breaking the world.
He's good.
Really?
He broke the world, all right. He broke our spirits. He broke our belief.
I'm broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Apart from Jared, everyone involved seems to have just moved on to other stuff at this point. Scott Eames is still with Thy Antichrist, preparing for a tour in March, and has expressed in interviews an interest in reconnecting with his estranged brother, but only if Jared contacts him first. Dane Davis has returned to Las Vegas and is looking to record again. Gavin Carney, as I mentioned, pretty much just took the whole thing at face value and was pretty thankful for Jared, who
Went to law school.
I guess at one point offered to pay for a plane ticket for him to return home, so I guess he's not too bad. I can't even say that with a straight face. Joe Prunero, the touring guitarist, has also moved on, returning to his day job handling production at the Wynn Las Vegas Resort and working on his own music. Whether or not Threatin's profile has been raised since the tour, Prunero certainly has, which is good. When I hit him up on Facebook, I asked him if the whole experience improved or hindered his career at all, and he was remarkably zen about the whole ordeal. The way he put it, even though what happened wasn't the best situation at the time, this was definitely the next step in the right direction, and I'm very excited for the future. He also mentioned that he was in steady communication with both Gavin and Dane, who specifically had been helping him out with his music, but has made no effort to get in touch with Jared beyond picking up some things he left at his house.
Guys, we don't need Jared. We don't need Jared. We can start our own band.
Wouldn't that be something? If
That'd
the
be
three
really something, guys.
Man.
Wouldn't that be something if the three of them just formed a band in that ashes and then immediately got on I don't know, is Headbangers Ball still around or whatever?
No, guys, let's write some real tunes. Let's write some real snappy numbers, guys. All right, Joey and the Paneras. Come on, let's do it.
Joey and the Paneras.
But then it all came crashing down when the person they got on vocals, Corey Feldman.
Oh no,
Bad people.
Can I stay on your couches, guys? And Gavin was just like, he seems legit.
Oh,
well,
yikes.
I mean, just wait till the second record when they get Ray Wilson.
Guys, this metal stuff, I don't know. What don't you know? It's just, no.
I don't know.
No. It's a little loud, isn't it? And that finally brings us to the end of the
Genesis,
album.
guys, come on.
Yes.
I feel like...
End of the album.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I feel like it's pointless to ask this, but do you guys consider this a worst of all time album? Pat, you want to start first? Okay, answered.
No, because it's way too bland, and I think there's definitely a story around it that makes it a lot worse than it really is. I'm not gonna give it that consideration of being a real album to call it the worst album of all time. I'm not gonna dignify it that way.
Heather, do you feel similarly about that?
Yeah, it doesn't deserve any accolades or superlatives even in being the worst. I think, again, that's why, going back to the Room comparison, The Room is one of the best bad movies of all time. It's stunningly bad. There's so many different layers of badness to the point where it becomes like high art in a sense. That there's something transcendent about how off-putting every single and how alien and, just deeply, disturbingly awful everything in The Room is. And then you look at that, and then you look at this, which is just it's just vanity personified, and it's really self-indulgent, meaningless, trite cliches over some passable, a guitar teacher guitar, somebody who's going to give lessons as a side gig and go to their, fucking 9 to 5 too. It's just nobody's heart's in it. Nobody fucking gives enough of a shit.
It all feels very contrived. And
right. It's simultaneously not passionate, but also so self-absorbed, right? It's a really dangerous combo. But in terms of the music, it doesn't deserve any ranking on anything. And the story itself is fucking hilarious.
It is. And I think to kind of piggyback on that for a second, there are so many fucking bands that sound just like this that this story is really the only thing that made this unique, and he did it in such a shitty, manipulative way that I almost don't want to give him that credit.
Right.
I would say a lot of the same stuff. Whether this is a worst album of all time is completely irrelevant because the music is irreparably tainted by the circumstances around it. And I'll also say this, with music this bland and uninteresting, it stands to reason that really one of the only ways to get it out to a wide audience probably was to pull a ridiculous stunt like this and just make a complete ass of yourself on an international level.
Right. That's the only reason to make yourself relevant.
Now for an even more pointless question. Do you guys have a favorite or least bad track? Pat?
No.
Okay, asked and answered.
I would say... was there a track that was If Need Be or something like that?
That was one.
That's horrible.
That song was bad, but I think it had the elements of being something that was sort of resembling okay pop song, but I'm really stretching.
No.
I found so much of this to be very.
I'm gonna help you out. The answer is just no. Like, no. It's all one song, and it's all fucking bland as fuck.
Yes, thank you,
bad.
Heather. You're absolutely
Sorry,
right. in that
cutting to the goddamn chase.
I have a feeling that there's no point in me saying what I had for least bad song either.
I mean,
'cause
go ahead. I feel it's your show.
I had Fade Into Never only because of that time signature change, but I had to write down like the one that I picked the moment I decided I thought it was slightly better than Just Okay, because otherwise I would have completely forgotten which track I picked, because these tracks all pretty much sound exactly the same.
A lot of them are in the same key too.
The same 2 chords, the same vocal progression, the same. It's bad.
It's very
so
just like emo core by number.
The best song was the last one because it was over.
Okay. Do you guys have a least favorite track besides the entire album? Pat?
Again, I was really struggling to find something that offended me more than anything else on this record. I don't know, man.
Should we come back to you, or is it not worth it?
What was track 2? That song was pretty stupid.
They're all stupid.
They're all stupid in a pretty much
Breaking the
equal
Wind?
way. Breaking the Wind? No, not Breaking the Wind.
Oh, Living is Dying. Yeah, that one is fucking dumb.
I mean, the lyrics to that one were pretty stupid, and again, we're dealing with everybody's favorite lyrical device, which is opposite.
Do you have a least favorite, Heather, or is that
No.
just okay?
The fat people
Estimates.
want what the skinny people got.
I love that song.
Yeah, see,
That
that's
song
a
is
good.
that is melodic. That is like a choir of
Artful.
angels.
Yes.
And it's got those sick Helen fills. Just
Yeah.
That's way too much rhythm here.
my least favorite was Conscious, but that's entirely on the basis of that stupid slappy acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Terrible.
And we're done.
We did it,
We're finally
guys.
over.
We did it, folks.
Wow! Yay!
We made it.
That's about as many people as were in the crowd for the Threatin fucking show.
Yeah.
This is the most applause he's ever gotten.
I think, yeah, man, this record just pisses me off because I'm thinking about all the time so many projects or songs or, lyrics, pending lyrics for things that I just have in my vault that I've put on the back burner because I'm like, it's just not good enough. I don't, I need to spend a little more time on it. I don't know. I'm stupid. What am I doing? I just really self-doubting myself, imposter syndrome. And then this asshole takes this incredibly bland music and thinks that he just thrusts it upon us.
Yeah, I wish imposter syndrome was contagious and he could catch a case of it because, God fucking Christ.
Because he's a fucking imposter,
Right.
he is one.
Oh, boy.
Fuck you, Jared.
The Jared has no clothes.
Thanks for being on the episode, Heather. Thank you very much.
weathering
Thanks
the
for
storm
having
with
me.
us.
Once again,
This is fun.
very sorry Mike couldn't join us, but we'll get him on at some point
Yeah.
sometime down the line. Have you got anything that you want to plug?
Sure. I mean, you should check out me and Mike's podcast. It's called Make It Stop. We also review terrible albums song by song. Sometimes we have some weird shit thrown in there. We do some Thunderdome, some head-to-heads. We mostly have local funny people come on and review some bad shit. We just did Lil Wayne's Rebirth. The next one coming out is our boy band Thunderdome, so you should check that out at makeitstoppodcast.com or makeitstopcast.podbean.com or wherever else.
Yeah.
You get the get the gist.
In recent particular, I will say the 5 Iron Frenzy episode.
Oh my God.
Was a trial.
That was one of the worst days of my life. You were guys, your extended intro about how your brains disintegrated. I feel that way. I definitely do. I've become.
That was your angelic to the core.
Oof! That was the worst thing we've heard since Broken Side, and that's saying a fucking lot.
We'll see how you guys feel once you get to do angelic to the core too.
Yeah,
you haven't done it yet?
I feel like we're
just
gonna
you
have
wait.
to. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Oh
Dude,
man.
you don't even know.
Man.
It is.
Wouldn't it-
I can
wouldn't-
confidently say that is probably one
Wouldn't-
of the worst albums.
Wouldn't it be
of all time.
hilarious if you guys got Scott Curlin as the guest for that episode
I
too?
know. We've been meeting. We were trying to schedule something with Scott, so we'll
already
make
listened.
it happen. I know. Well, we're gonna make it happen. It's just
Oh
been
boy. You got anything to plug, Pat?
I got nothing. I don't know. Who the fuck cares what I'm up to?
I got a new Sawtooth EP that came out full of
cool.
anti-fascist techno called Nazi Scalped. It's got some really good remixes from New England artists. And our Ministry tribute album is going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. We're doing a tribute to the album Uncle Al Hates the Most, with sympathy. It's got a bunch of cool New England people on it.
Cool.
Smell has a track, Sawtooth has a track, Big Time Kill is on it, Morris Black, and a bunch of other people.
Rad.
Should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. That I did like a yacht rock cover of that song.
I could promote Blow. The Boston League of Wicked Wrestlers is doing a show for Blowstice for the Solstice on the 21st at the Midway. We're doing a very rare, special one-off Midway show with Wimp and Electric Street Queens.
Very cool.
And
cool.
the Daughters of American Revolution. Great lineup. Great punk show. I'll be wrestling. It'll be a lot of fun.
Very cool. I guess that about does it for the episode. Our theme song is Sunny Day by the band Froggy and the Friendship. You can check them out at froggyandthefriendship.bandcamp.com. If you have an album you want to suggest for us to review or just want to leave us some feedback or a comment, email us at jukeboxzeroespodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/jukeboxzeroespodcast, on Twitter at twitter.com/jukeboxzeroes, now on Instagram at instagram.com/jukeboxzeroespodcast. Find us, rate us, review us, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. And our archive main page is jukeboxzeroes.podbean.com. That about does it for Jukebox Zeroes. I'm Lee.
I'm Patrick.
And remember... Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.